Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the final episode of Season 1 of
Trapped Under Plastic, the podcast for the miniature hobby enthusiast.
It's back! Oh, no! All right,
This is a special episode, isn't it, John?
This is a special, special day.
So today, me and John are going to spend a portion of the day reading through all of your lovely feedback for Season 1 so that we can incorporate it into Season 2. But we also wanted to make an episode for you, so it's a little bit shorter one, but at least it's something and not nothing.
Yes, we felt guilty about not doing an episode, and we found a good compromise. Mm-hmm. We found something that we can just chat on without a ton of extra work and us prepping for.
Yeah.
And we think it's fun to talk about, and it's timely. Mm-hmm. And we can still do our other work today, too. So
absolutely.
Everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
In theory.
Right. So we got to have a little bit of a preamble, right?
Yeah, we do.
I appreciate driving here.
Yeah?
So me and John are about an hour, 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty stingy with how I consume content. I only watch videos in the neighborhood of anywhere under 10 minutes, under 15 minutes. Rarely do I listen to longer form podcasts and things like that. So driving here, I have the opportunity to do that. So one of the videos I watched was Vince's video about him painting an ogre army in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a no sleep thing. It was just like, I'm going to be working for 24 hours. He pauses the timer when he goes to eat and things like that. So like a really good kind of like metric, right? Basically what we tried to do, 24 hours of actual painting, right? Or maybe a little bit longer. Who knows? Yeah. And so I could just listen to that. And that's a video where I would not sit down and just watch it ever because it's like an hour and 12 minutes long. Yeah. So that was good. I listened to, on a previous trip, I listened to your interview with Hobby Time in the Murder Basement. Yeah. So yeah, I get to listen to the long things and I like it.
I do that too when the shoe's on the other foot. Nice. I'm coming up. I get to do that. Okay. So what you should have done is you should have watched Vince's Seraphon army in like 48 hours video.
Oh, that's that one?
Because he failed at that one, so that would make you feel better about failing yours.
Yes, I failed. So yeah, last time we had a podcast, that was like 2 days before I started, and now this is after. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I failed. Shocker.
It was so funny because we recorded that on a Monday, and it was like Tuesday night. So the next night, and you were like still cleaning models. I'm like, oh no, Scott, no, there's no way this is getting done. You know, had all of your models cleaned and built yet? No.
Man, I got lost in converting 5 more Blood Knights.
But it sounded like you had fun doing that. So
I love doing it. It's so much fun, yeah. And then we got more ideas for making more Blood Knights.
Yeah, and then I see you reaching out into the Facebook group trying to pick up more of those. Those Ghosty Boy horses.
And that actually relates kind of because we discovered that idea when we were at a hobby store with our friends, that kind of leads us into the topic for today. But did you have some other preamble you want to talk about? I have no idea.
I thought I did, but I can't really remember it now.
Okay, yeah, we have no notes for today. We're freeballing it like this is.
Yes, I don't think so. I think most of what we're going to talk about is really preamble. Like in long format. It's just kind of
you're right.
A retrospective
sure
of the hobby weekend. I did have one thing though. I thought I remembered it.
Okay.
So you recorded a podcast recently.
Oh yeah, dude. Life after the cover save.
Yeah. So you got to experience those two gentlemen. How was that?
Man, the first 30 minutes we talked about oral care, volleyball, and some other unrelated thing. There is so much fun, and they don't really care. They'll have a chat. They'll make you feel comfortable, and they'll have a laugh. It's fun.
Yeah, like it's a 40K podcast.
Yes.
For those that don't know what Life After the Cover Save is, it's incredibly fun and funny. The reason I was on it once.
Yeah.
Because Brent Goobs. I guess like Goobs was a big fan of theirs. Goobs did an episode.
Big time. Yeah.
And then that's how somehow Goobs is like, you need to go on there. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I have no idea what I'm getting into. And I was like, I hope Scott has no idea what he's getting into.
Yeah, and I had no idea. And John wrote a nice little intro for them to use for me. They read it and they were like, guess who wrote this? And I was like, well, you wrote it, of course. And they were like, nope, I'll give you one more guess. I was like, oh, it was fucking John. Like I knew it. Like, as soon as they said it wasn't them.
Yeah, well, because the story on this is I'm talking to Blake over Messenger, and he's like, well, is there anything like interesting or way we can kind of break the ice because we don't really know Scott and to make it any fun. I'm like, what if you had a funny little intro just to kind of set the tone? Like, okay, what do you think? And I'm like, let me just write it. And you just read it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, what if this doesn't go well? And I'm like, it's going to go well.
Yeah. It went well. They have been making a podcast for 10 years.
Crazy.
Yeah. So they have all these cool different like episode ideas and formats. They were talking about having us on together to do a certain format. I forget what it was called. It was like a list thing. So they have a lot of cool ideas, and they were enjoyable to talk to for sure.
Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed your time. I knew you would, as Blake reached out and he's like, hey, do you think there's any way Scott would be on there? Because they had I think a hiatus because of COVID. They record in person as well, which you can tell when it's just those two. Even when they have a guest, like it's them being together while it's being recorded, it just seems to go so much smoother that way. So, I hadn't heard from him in a while, and he's like, "We think Scott would be on there." I'm like, "I think you could probably talk him into it."
Yeah, I can wing it.
Yeah. So that's probably coming out soon, I would guess, that episode. If it's not out, so check out Life After the Cover Save and anywhere you find your podcast.
Yeah, we'll link them below. And then I think it's coming out mid-October, late October. I think that's what I was told.
So they'll get it soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen.
Enjoy. It's not toward the end it gets into the hobby, but yeah, in the beginning we were just riffing and it was great.
Yeah. That's from all of their podcasts that I've listened to, and I've listened to a fair number of them. That's par for the course.
Okay.
It's
good.
like 20% actual hobby stuff, but then there's like 60% like kind of related to hobby, but just funny.
Yeah.
And then 20% you have no idea what the hell's going on.
Right. Right.
So we relate to that.
Oh, big time. Yeah. So yeah, today we're going to talk about a fun weekend that we had with Sam and Vince. And because I'm neurotic, I just want to say that we're not trying to brag at all. We just want to bring you along for the experience so that you can enjoy it vicariously, because none of us get to go to cons right now. None of us get to experience the joy of being able to be with other people in the hobby, be with our kin, and just nerd out for a weekend. And so we were fortunate enough to have Sam and Vince over to my house and John and myself for a weekend, and we could just hang out and do the hobby. And it was really therapeutic and enjoyable, and we want to just take you along for the ride and tell you what we did.
Well, that's the episode, folks. We'll see you on Flippity Flop. Okay. So where do we want to start unpacking with this?
Let's start at your house.
Okay. So, well, I guess we'll just work the logistics.
Yes.
So Vince lives in Ohio, in an undisclosed city in Ohio.
Here's his address on the screen right now.
And it's about a 12-hour drive if he were to drive straight from his house to your house.
Yeah.
And so on the Wednesday, he drives to Sam's house in eastern Wisconsin, stays overnight there. On Thursday, they all get loaded up into Vince's car and drive to my house. And on Thursday, they get to my house about Thursday supper time. I'm out in the grill, getting my grill on, and they pull up. And it was pretty hilarious because Vince has like a Honda 2-door, kind of a sports car.
It's a racer for sure.
Yeah. It's like a Fast and the Furious sports car.
I asked him, I was like, Vince, are you into cars? And he was like, no. I was like, all right.
And so this two-door Honda pulls up in my driveway, and Sam gets out, and it's like a clown car, this giant getting out of this little car.
Yes.
And I'm like, Vince, I never would have guessed you to be the kind of person who goes to so many conventions and always has a bazillion models in his car, that you have this little ass car.
Yeah.
Now, it was very roomy, and they had a lot of crap that they fit in there. And for two grown men that even had the seats pushed back, they still had a bunch of room in the back seat. So it all worked out. It was just a funny kind of first impression. So they stayed over here Thursday night, and we were just down here in the hobby room, basically just gabbing like teenage girls at a sleepover for like 5 hours straight.
Yeah, you sent me a picture, and it was I think it was Vince in a beanbag or something like that.
Sitting on a
you got a beanbag, dude?
There's a giant beanbag chair. It's my daughter's.
Why don't we record the podcast in 2 beanbags?
Oh man, that's probably a brilliant idea. We only need one more. We got one.
There you go.
Yeah, actually, it's big enough we could probably share it.
All right.
But it's a beanbag chair. It's one of these fancy ones that my wife decided we need to spend like $600 on a big chair.
Holy balls!
Yeah. It's huge, but also it unzips, and the inside is actually a bed. So it comes out to like a memory foam full-size bed. And so in the next room right now, my daughter has it open and she has it out like a little bed in there. That's the beanbag chair.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say you could like unzip it and like get inside it like a tauntaun in Star Wars, like when,
if it gets extra cold.
It open. Dang,
Yeah, you probably could do that. Too.
I mean, yeah, that's incredible.
So we need another one of those.
Okay, yeah, just
put it in the podcast budget.
Put it on $600 pocket, easy.
Yeah, and then we have just like a sexy little like end table we put in between the two, and that's where our little mics go on.
Yeah,
just lean into them.
And our little drinky drinks.
Yeah,
which today I'm drinking a Diet Dew because I didn't bring McDonald's this time, so John's supplying me with his choice of drink.
My colon thanks you for the lack of McDonald's.
I think it's worth explaining why they paused in Rochester. I was still editing that fucking video that was supposed to come out on Friday, and I was finishing it. I think I finished it at like 11:30 p.m. that day because you were still awake. We were trying to coordinate when the video was coming out.
Right.
So yeah, I still had work to do that evening. But yeah, I finished it up and went out on Friday. Do you have anything else you want to talk about them being here?
There was something. Oh well, yeah, because we wanted to get going as soon as possible. It's like a 4.5, maybe 5 hour drive from Sam's house to your house. So it seemed to make more sense that they come over a day earlier and stay at my house, and then it's only a little over an hour.
Yep.
All of us can get an early start. And Vince drives like an old lady. I'm just going to say it right now. Vincey, you drive like an old lady. We're going up on the interstate to go from my house to your house. And he's like, don't worry about Scott's address. I'll just follow you. And I'm like, sweet. You got that little ring. Yeah. And I have a giant truck. I'm like, this is not going to be a problem.
Right.
I had to slow down so many times.
Oh, yeah.
They
Nervous
texted I was going to lose him.
Yeah, they were like, can you give us your address in case we lose John? And I was like, okay.
I should have taken that as...
think of it.
I should have taken that as the punch it Chewy note. It's like, I see that come across.
Star Wars references.
Like, blue. And then I just go plaid in it and then just shoosh. You're not going to get that reference, but okay.
Go plaid?
Yeah. We'll leave it in the comments for the
Brews
and Spruettes.
Is this a Star Wars reference that's tangential to Star Wars?
It is, yes.
Okay. Is this Comb the Desert reference kind of thing?
It's the same movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
I've seen it.
Okay, good. It's classic. It's better than most or all of the Star Wars movies. Enter your hate in my comment below on saying that. Spaceballs is better than any Star Wars. Okay, so we just wanted to get going there. And we stopped and get bagels at the
World's Bagelery,
the best bagel place in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it can be hit or miss depending on the age of the bagels. But if you get them fresh, fresh bagels is kind of hard to beat in the first place.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Usually, we'd get them sometime between 7 and 8:30 a.m. We were there like 9:30, and they're just a little bit crusty.
A little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
This is not a podcast about bagels. So we're not going to worry there. And then we get to your house.
I saw Vince for the first time. My plan was I was still mopping the house when you guys showed up.
Jesus.
Because like your wife, just like my wife, she likes it to be clean when people show up. So I'm like vacuuming and mopping and like getting everything nice and clean. I'm folding blankets for whatever reason. My plan was to have a camera situated in the front of my house pointing out that big window I have at the road. And I was going to hit record when they showed up, and I was going to go and jump into like Vince's arms. And then I was going to take that clip and just insert it into a random video.
Never see it coming.
I didn't end up doing that because I was still cleaning when they arrived. But yeah, I met Vince for the first time. I've seen him at cons before. I don't think I've ever spoken to him.
Yeah,
I've talked to him recently in Facebook Messenger and stuff like that, so I'm acquainted with him. But that was the first time I ever met him. And yeah, I'm kind of building this up like it's going to be like he was the love of my life or something. But no, it was just really nice to meet him. And I want to forego my my review of Vincey V, which sounds really weird.
Yeah, that's
I'm just going to do it now. He's a lovely fucking person.
Yeah. You always put your, you put yourself in a scary situation here
Yeah.
if you commit to a certain amount of time in the hobby time with someone you don't really know.
Sure, yeah.
You know, someone's like, hey, I saw you guys, you want to get together and paint some models sometime or whatever. That's okay if you like meet up at a game store or whatever, but
Yeah, for like 2
we're
hours.
committed to like 3 days in your house with somebody.
Yeah.
And that could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. And okay, there wasn't that much risk because you can see his videos. He's a super kind person. He's not like a weirdo. It's not like inviting some other YouTubers over to our house.
Yeah. Wait.
We'll let that one sit there for no reason. But yeah, so Vince, I mean, he's going to listen to this. I think he listens to this regularly. He was such a lovely person to have over.
He's so damn intelligent.
He's so fucking smart, dude.
Yeah.
He knows about everything.
Yes.
It's so crazy. Like every topic, he's just so well informed on. But yeah.
All I had to do was like, you'd start a conversation with, hey, Vince, what about blah, blah, blah? And he'd be like, okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and every time, like, I just need to soak all this in. At one point, in the weekend, I had a running joke, but it was also not a joke, where I started a notes list in my phone of things I needed to remember that Vince said, because I knew I wasn't going to remember them all.
Dude, you should bust that list out right now.
I don't know how many things are on the list. They're all secretive things that I need help from Vince with. I don't want to share with the world. Let's see if there's any on here that I can share with you all.
Okay, while you look it up, I'll continue to explain. So they got here. We ate bagels. We started to gossip. Of course, every important part of a convention is getting together and gossiping with your local indie painters. There isn't a whole lot of things to gossip about, so we talked about whatever we can, We
talk about it. We talk about everything. The interesting thing is this is a niche hobby, but it is very prevalent in different like little corners of the internet.
Yeah.
And none of us know about every little corner or spend a lot of time in every little corner.
Yeah.
And so with the four of our minds together, we cover most corners and we just kind of bring everybody else up to speed on what we've learned or what we know or what we're hearing and all this kinds of stuff. Okay, my entire list is all stuff that Vince and I discussed about Patreon.
Oh.
And all the deep dives in the world of Patreon. And so I'm not going to share.
I must have missed that conversation.
Yeah, I'm not going to share any of those goodies
with me
with
either.
you. And since you're here, it's not exciting stuff for the listeners.
Sure.
I just side note, I don't want to just leave everyone hanging there. Like I'm considering doing a Patreon for my YouTube channel.
Sure.
And I want to do my due diligence in that and making sure that what I would offer, and maybe Sprues and Spruettes can chime in on this too, if you can help be my think tank here, is I want to make sure that what I offer for sure checks two main boxes. One, that it's sustainable as the channel grows. So I don't want to offer a thing that I just at a certain point I'm not going to be able to offer anymore and everyone's mad. Mm-hmm. It's like, you get 15 minutes of my time every month, every patron. And it's like, okay, that's just not feasible.
Yeah.
There's not enough hours in the day. I wish I could do that. But also, and probably most importantly, the box is what are the things that I offer that would really be valuable and that folks would really be feeling like, okay, I feel great supporting you, not only to support you as an artist, but because there's this great thing that I get for it, or maybe it's just a little extra thing that makes me feel good or something, a bonus. So I've created a big spreadsheet and I've written down every single hobbyist related Patreon account.
Yeah.
And what they offer, how many patrons they have, what do they offer at each tier, highlight different things that I think catch my eye as interesting and what is missing in that space that I've got some ideas that I don't think anyone does. Let me verify that's true. And so I was talking to Vince about this and he had some really interesting data points to share with me and questions that he had about what would be good. So
very cool. Yeah, you're doing some good homework on that.
Yeah.
Because Patreon is definitely a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's always good to walk in prepared.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that. Nobody wants to hear anything more about that.
Sure. No, we appreciate hearing about that. So, had him over, had some bagels, went downstairs, got to show him the set a little bit because Sam hadn't been there since I had installed the ceiling rig.
Yeah.
So he got to see that, and Vince had never been there, so I showed him some things about my setup. And then I think someone was like, well, what do we do? And it's just like, I think we should play a game right away.
Yeah. We need to play a game of Age of Sigmar right away before we get into painting. Otherwise, we're not going to play a game.
Yeah.
And Vince was right.
He was right. Yeah. He was definitely
We got our
right.
one game of Age of Sigmar in.
Yeah. And so I got to unfold the gaming coffee table for the first time ever since it was created.
And I tell you what, that was pretty mint.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked so well.
It worked. So before they showed up, we didn't end up using them, but I bought leaf extension supports. These are things that install under the table and that can be pulled out. They're metal arms so that when the wings fold out, it's not those shitty hinges holding them up that you have like these actual metal bars under it. So I didn't end up using them because I didn't have time to install them. But what we did was we just stacked books and boxes under the wings so that they were supported at their height. Put down a little neoprene mat, a little forest. I got together all the garbage terrain that I've made over the course of my 10 years in the hobby or whatever. And surprisingly, it was enough. John forgot his obelisk for his Osiarch Bone Reapers, and so he used a square piece of paper.
Yeah.
But no, I'm getting ahead of myself here. What were the teams?
So we decided to join forces on this one.
Right. We never joined forces.
Because we never do.
And also we had both have death armies.
We had death armies, right? It seemed wasn't even sure what at this point what Vince had brought because Vince has every army. Damn near.
Yeah. He has what? It was like 17 or
16 or 17.
Yeah, something like that.
And they're all painted. Armies, Age of Sigmar armies, and I knew Sam was bringing his Stormcast or Storm Chads as he calls them.
Dude, okay, Sam has the best one-liners of any mini painter out there.
Yeah.
Funniest dude.
Yeah, that was probably the most ongoing funny aspect of this whole week. I mean, we were laughing the entire weekend, but Sam just will randomly say a one-liner completely unrelated to anything we've been talking about for the past 3 hours. And it's so funny because you don't see it coming.
No.
And it has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. And it's just like he has these all saved up and then just somewhere he hits, randomize in the brain cells and it just spits one out. Yeah. So he was playing his Stormcast and Vince is playing his Slanesh army, but the Death armies needed to combine. And so he did a 2v2, a total of 2,000 points on each side. We each had 1,000 points, which is a little bit awkward.
Sure.
I think it was awkward for everyone but Vince, because Vince was ready for this because we all had basically our list planned around 2,000 points and painted only those things.
Yep, mine was painted too.
And so when each side has to bring it down to 1,000 points, you have to make a lot of concessions. And suddenly it might not be the stronger 1,000-point list because you would have done other things.
Are you hedging right now?
I'm hedging on the results of this battle right now. And so we lost.
Gosh. Yeah, we lost. But it wasn't like, we lost in the first turn and there was never a glimmer of hope for us ever again. There was like 2 glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
There was a cool moment when my Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon slew a Slanesh chariot in 1 round of combat. I felt cool about that.
That's good. When my catapult just knocked off that Keeper of Secrets.
Oh yeah, dude. That was cool. Or that guy with the man on his penis, but you have him on his butt.
Yeah.
The grinder guy.
Yeah, the harvester.
Schlups people out. That guy was doing work
that
too.
Guy. And then there was a couple of strategic errors that were made in this battle, mostly by me.
Wow, you're so kind.
Yeah, I mean, not at all by you. You're not the reason we lost at all, Scott.
What? I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. Help me. My army's pretty transparent in what it wants to do. It wants to kill things and go forward and kill things, but I'm assuming there are probably better ways to do that than what I did.
Yeah, it's tough too, right? Because you had your wolves, and wolves are are a really interesting unit and kind of hard to master. And I'm not a master at them either. I always second guess what I should be using them for.
Sure.
They move fast. They have 2 wounds for each model, so even in a unit of 5, it's enough wounds to at least somebody has to commit some damage to them to try to wipe them out. And they can be a great screen or a great back, defender to your back objective. They can move around the board pretty quick. So, you kind of want them to be in a spot where if someone wants to come at you, they got to go through the wolves, and that leaves them open to a Blood Knight countercharge. And you were all about getting those Blood Knights on the charge to mess something up.
Right.
But they did a good job of not really letting you get an ideal charge.
Sure.
All game long with either of the units of Blood Knights.
Yep.
I remember a couple turns where it's like you were certainly going to get in on a charge, but none of the options felt good.
Nope.
You know, and I knew it was over for us once Vince had enough depravity points where he could just start putting more stuff back on the table.
Every turn, yeah.
Yeah. And without that, I think we win that game.
Right, yeah. So I made a critical error instead of fielding chain rasps, fielding direwolves, right? So because direwolves are multi-wound, Vince gets 1 depravity for each direwolf he kills, as opposed to a chain rasp, which would give him no depravity.
Yeah.
Because you get depravity whenever you apply a wound to something, but you don't kill it. And then with depravity, you can summon demons. So each turn, Vince was summoning. The first turn, he summoned a chariot and a unit of seekers, and then the second turn, he did another chariot. So yeah, it's like there's a really cool army in that it walks on the edge of being totally annihilated at any one point. It's a hero-based army. So he has 2 units of Seekers, a Keeper of Secrets, this named character, I can't remember the name of, and then 2 champions. And if at any point, if he loses his heroes, which is kind of the case for most armies, but in his it's more so because it's such a small army. If he loses his heroes, he's totally screwed because he can't summon anymore. He has no more of that regeneration utility. So it's just... it's like either it's going to do really well and smash, or it's going to get smashed, was the impression I had of the army.
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't take down all 4 of his heroes quick enough.
Right.
You know, I think if we could get those down faster, then he just can't summon.
Right.
And then even if it was, you know, he got the first summons off, if we could do it, kill the rest of the heroes. And we ended up killing almost all of them. It's just the problem is that on the one side where I had all my Mortek guard, they just came at me with everything of Sam's, basically.
Everything.
I'll say we did have one really epic moment where Sam sends down like what are they called? The storm
Paladins?
No, the ones that are like wizard warriors. They have a staff and a sword, and he shoots them down from the sky in the lightning from behind my big giant harvester. Because Vince is like, you got to kill that harvester, otherwise it's going to keep regenerating all the skeletons.
Yeah.
So Sam shoots him in 9 inches behind the harvester. They make the charge.
Gets a nutty roll for his charge, yeah.
Yeah, gets in. The chances that he gets in, he needs a 9 on 2 6-sided dice. He gets in. They just do like almost nothing to the harvester. The harvester turns around and goes, and crushes the whole unit.
Really? That's what happened? You didn't have any other help?
No, nothing. Just him. And then Sam was just like deflated. He's like, that thing is broken. How the hell? I'm like, I rolled as best as I possibly could, and you rolled like garbage, and that's what Age of Sigmar sometimes.
That's what happens, yeah.
You know, and I felt super good.
Yeah.
And it was all downhill from there. But we had fun, and I'm glad we did it early on. I mean, a game of Age of Sigmar, first of all, it's 3 hours, I think it took us, which is about average. And it's kind of mentally taxing. You know, you're focused, you're thinking, or whatever. And I think it was probably less for this game than my usual Age of Sigmar game.
Okay.
But, you know, it's like if we were been painting for 8 hours straight, and then we want to sit down and play, I just don't know if we'd be mentally... you know, all about it.
That's interesting. Let's dive into this a little bit.
Okay.
You think playing a game of Age of Sigmar specifically, or any miniature war game that you're familiar with or competent in, is mentally taxing?
I would say any that you're trying to play for, at least at I don't want to say competitive level, but you want to do your best.
Sure.
So Guild Ball is the same way. Guild Ball is probably more taxing from any other game I've played. But 40K, Age of Sigmar. Warcry, we played some Warcry, a spoiler to later on in the weekend. That was just fun. It was just like, we were learning as we go. Sam and I had never played before, and Vince was kind of teaching us, so it maybe was different that way.
Vince was gunning for you, dude.
Dude, Vince just immediately sent his entire warband at me and let Sam just kind of trot over to objectives. His little trotty Stormcast, and then just sat on that one objective.
Little 4-inch move.
Yeah. And then the final round, I had this strategy that how I was going to pull off a win, because we were in a stalemate every round. And I'm like, I'm going to go in, sneak in, and steal Sam's with my horsey boys that are a long movement. And I'm just going to sneak in, outnumber him on that one objective, still hold my objective, and in the final hour, just win. Yes. Vince saw it coming. Freaking countered my counter.
Dang it.
And then it ended in a freaking stalemate again. It was a tie. So that's a fun game, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started off with Age of Sigmar. We had a lot of fun.
We had fun. Got some painted armies on the table. It looked really cool. Even the train was painted.
I don't know if anybody took pictures of that.
I took an Instagram story of it.
Oh, that's
Two
right.
of them? Yeah.
Okay, so it exists out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I realized, like, maybe it was on my drive back home. I took, like, no pictures of us.
Yeah, neither did I.
Like, I should have taken way more pictures of us just hanging out and stuff.
Yeah, I think the only one, and Sam is always really good about doing this, is he's taking pictures, he's shooting video constantly of what's going on, and he's always kind of been that way. Whenever I do a hobby hangout with him, he's like snapping photos because he has like he had a blog for the longest time, so I feel like he has this muscle memory of just kind of always snapping photos of his progress. So he's good about doing that.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's just cataloging constantly.
Yeah.
We didn't, and I guess maybe that can lead us into a discussion about what inevitably we've already had a bunch of questions on, but maybe the viewers are going to ask this as well, is where's the video? What videos are coming up? When are you guys going to do videos about the weekend? And the answer is...
There are none.
There are none.
We didn't shoot any because we just wanted to have fun and relax.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think there was a whole lot of time to really kind of spend a significant portion of a day setting up and tearing down cameras for a video.
Right.
You could just shoot something simple, but nothing's ever simple with me because I always like to complicate things. So, yeah.
And so when we got 3 days together, more or less 3 full days. Got up there Friday morning, left Sunday night. If you have 3 days, if you're going to commit to even a moderately simplistic video, it's at least committing a half of a day, probably more.
Yeah.
When it's from start to finish of all you need to do. And that's assuming that you got 4 people at play here, that we're all on the same page and understanding what's going on. It suddenly becomes such a big time sink, and it throws off kind of our mojo of the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
And honestly, making videos is a lot of work.
Miking 4 people is I couldn't even do that.
Yeah. We'd have to be sharing these ice cream cones.
Yeah, you would actually have needed to bring that mic that I lent you over, and that's the only way I'd have enough mic to do it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we didn't do it. I don't know if I had enough time anyways because I was making food, which I want to talk about because I like to talk about food.
All right.
So the first meal, we did grilled cheese, and grilled cheese isn't that big of a deal, you know? But again, I make everything a big deal. So I experimented a lot with the grilled cheese because I watch a lot of food YouTubers, and so I did I tried mayo instead of butter for browning the bread.
Yeah.
Great, 10 out of 10.
That was good.
Yeah.
Also, a preamble to this is, if you've never had a grilled cheese that takes 2 hours to make, now I can say that I have.
Why did it take 2 hours?
I don't know. It took you a long ass time.
I really enjoy feeding people, so I like to have fun in this way. I put some fancier cheeses on the inside, along with some good melters like American cheese. American cheese has emulsifiers built into it, so when you put other cheeses in there, they meld together very nicely. It has enough actually for extra cheese to chemically emulsify it. And then on the outside, I put some cheddar as well, and then crisped that on my little flat top. So you had like a crispy, cheesy wafer on the outside of both sides. So that was fun. We ate that for meal number 1.
You also put like bacon and pickled jalapenos in it too?
Yeah, pickled jalapeno. I forgot. Yeah, I put bacon and pickled jalapeno inside.
That was wonderful. That was a great sandwich. It was a good start to the weekend.
Thank you. Yeah, I fucked up our 2 sandwiches because you always got to mess up the first ones.
Yeah, it's just like pancakes, right?
Yeah.
First ones are bad.
But yeah, that was good. Okay, played a game, had a sandwich. I think immediately after that we got into painting.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to make the base that matched all your bases because, of course, I wasn't done with mine. So I made the cuts necessary for the cork so that we'd all had the same height of stairs. And then I veneered it and milliput and did the various sculpting of like the tiles and stuff like that and the runes on the steps.
Yeah. So we had this kind of goes into the pre-weekend work that 3 of the 4 of us did. And so we had a kind of a meeting of the minds to discuss what we wanted to do. We wanted to do a collaboration diorama.
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about this.
It's kind of, what we did. Where each of our pieces could stand on its own, but when put together side by side, the bases kind of all lined up to create a bigger scene and help to tell a bigger story. And we learned a lot from this. And I think we could actually do it again, which we're going to do.
Heck yeah, dude. Sci-fi one.
Yeah. And learn from what we started with to make an even stronger story, a more interesting, dynamic piece when they're put together. But it was just a great starting point. So we kind of worked on designing what the bases would be shaped like, so they would kind of interlock, right? So the sides would line up, and there's stairs in this ancient dwarven tomb, chamber of loot and shit. And that's the official terminology. And we kind of were going back and forth, and I sketched up some ideas based on our talks. And then Sam just built one. He just built his. And I'm like, good. It looked very dwarven in design. So I took his, asked him for the measurements, and we'd use that as a baseline. And so we have two outside pieces that it looks like a corner of this staircase that goes down, and then the 2 inside pieces, one of which was Sam's, the other one would mirror that, and so all together they would fit. We came up with the design, and everyone's homework was to have their base built prior to the weekend, so we could spend the weekend painting. All the extra rubble and little fiddly bits to build on top, we wanted to save till we're all together so that we could actually make them kind of interlocked. Because like mine and Sam's, if you put them next to it, I had a couple of giant overhanging pieces of rubble that kind of slid right up to Sam's piece that made it look like the rock was sitting on his, which was super cool idea. And Sam had that idea, so we kind of do the final details all together, so it really felt like they were all part of the same piece. And we all did some kit bashing and stuff, which was fun there while you were finishing building yours. So you weren't that far behind, truthfully.
No, yeah, because once the milliput was done, I probably finished that maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, tossed it in the oven, and it cured up real quick.
Yeah, I was just nervous you were going to forget you had it in there, and it would just look like a burnt piece of pizza.
I had a timer on, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, we took some balsa wood, snapped it to add some broken wood. Sam brought some chain, because you always need frickin' chain.
Yeah.
Sam, a lot of people were curious about how I made the little coins. Sam took some epoxy putty, I don't know what brand it was, and he rolled it into very small snakes, and then we took a sharp X-Acto and cut slices of it like a cucumber, and had little scale coins.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah, some skulls, obviously.
This is Games Workshop.
Yeah, someone brought some skeleton warrior sprues that had arrows in them, so you could just stick little arrows.
Yeah.
I think Sam brought some plaster at various thicknesses that he had poured and kind of dried in sheets, so you could snap them and it looked like almost like concrete, honestly, or just giant rock. Some smaller rocks. I took a little helmet and I hollowed it out and put it on top of a spear. And from an old goblin kit, I had like a Bad Moon logo. I stuck that on a spear. So yeah, we just kind of littered our stuff with like Dwarven Fortress, just got raided vibes.
Worked out pretty well.
It did work out pretty well.
And we did. We could paint our models however we wanted, but we wanted the bases to obviously be the same. So we went through a portion, mostly on like Sunday, the last day, where we were painting the bases, where we all were going to use the same colors, have a similar aesthetic. You could still see our own style a bit in how the basing coloration turned out, but they all had the same colors. They also used the same kind of your cool rusty dark brown dry pigment.
Yeah, track rust. Yeah.
So they all felt like they lived together, even though the paint scheme and how the paint was applied wasn't 100% one-to-one across. I had to go through and redo mine a couple of times because mine was a fair amount darker, especially to Sam's, which was right next to mine, which would look too stark of change.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
And then we all painted a different greenskins tribe that, as the story goes, they all joined forces in a coalition to destroy the dwarves and to raid their underground halls. And our scene takes place right when they finally found the treasure chamber.
Yeah, battle's over. Time to start looting. Shit's gonna go down.
Yeah. How long before they all turn on each other?
Yes.
Yeah. And I know my little Noblars are going to come out ahead at the end of that battle.
Dude, honestly, your Noblars were my favorite thing about that. It was the freaking guy sliding down the tile is so good.
It's so funny.
He's so much fun. I love that so much. But yeah, everyone, I think Sam went around with the camera and asked everyone like the inspiration for like their piece and why they were painting it the way they did. And he's going to make a video about that and put it on his Patreon. So if you want to check it out, feel free to check it out. But yeah, we all had different motivations and different reasons for painting the ways we wanted to paint. And it was fun. And I finished mine. So fuck you in advance.
Oh man, there totally weren't those comments when we posted the pictures on
yeah,
Instagram and Facebook.
Well, one of these isn't finished, so I don't know which one's Scott's.
Yeah.
So okay, so I guess we to put to close the cover on the actual painting portion of this podcast discussion, we choreographed our kind of showing of the pictures after the weekend was over.
Oh yeah,
and
I was super excited about this.
Yeah, and it turned out way cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So we all announced it, and then we asked everybody through Instagram or through the Facebook groups, who do you think painted which one? We didn't share which of us painted which one, and we didn't have any pictures. I think Sam had one work in progress somewhere.
Sure. On his story or something.
On his story or something, but I don't think it was really prevalent that everyone knew whose was which.
Sure.
And the guesses were all over the place.
Dude, they were all over. I would like to think that I'd be able to nail it. Obviously, it's impossible to know because I was watching everyone paint their own. But yeah, I think of my own Instagram community, a lot of them, not a lot of them, probably like 30% of them were able to find out which one was mine, but the rest of them were totally wrong. Like there was no consistency, which makes sense because if they're following me, they see my stuff, maybe they can identify some themes. Mm-hmm. I showed my friend who wasn't a miniature painter, and he immediately guessed mine because mine had the most stuff on the base. And I was like, okay, you clocked me.
There's clues.
Yes. But yeah, that was super cool. I really like that experiment. I think we talked about it in a previous podcast, and then we had some, 4 people paint the same model even, and see if they could figure it out.
That would be even more difficult, I think.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because there's a lot of other decisions that go into what you paint and how you alter it, or what kind of basing you do, what kind of story you're trying to tell. Mm-hmm. Some of the comments that we got, and there was a fair amount of people that got it right.
Sure,
or
some of it right as well.
Some of it right.
Yeah.
But they were certainly not in the majority. I would say maybe 1 out of 10 people got it right across the different platforms that I looked at. The common misconceptions. Some folks thought you did mine because it was funny. And so they thought it was either you or me because of the humor involved in it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that the ones that I saw anyway, Sam and I were most flip-flopped, and you and Vince were most flip-flopped.
Yeah, because Vince's orange color. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But some people also thought that maybe you did mine because my Nobblers have pink ears and you love pink.
Yeah.
So they're just like, all right, which one has got pink? That one's the one that's got pink.
Yeah.
But it's not even striking on the piece. I'm like, kind of forgot. I'm like, I have pink on mine? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, they're big floppy ears.
Yeah.
They're pinkish on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vince reported that a lot of his followers were able to peg Sam.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand. Sam is the one, I think, with the most distinct painting style of the 4 of us.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that I immediately knew it as Sam's. When you take a picture of it, I was like, oh yeah, that's totally Sam's.
Yeah.
That's totally Sam's. Also, to break down the weekend a little bit more in regards to the painting, Sam painted the least and got it done so fast. But it wasn't that he wasn't painting. He was always doing something or fiddling with something or whatever, but the amount of time like his brush was wet, it was embarrassing how little time it takes him to paint so well.
Yeah, he had to really slow himself down for us.
Yeah, he did. And he was just, he was having fun too. He just was like, if he was having fun and chatting or telling stories or whatever, like he wasn't painting at that point. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get all the skin done on this dude in like 20 minutes, and it looks like the best skin of all of ours. Funny side note on Vince. Vince seemed to have a paintbrush or an airbrush in his hand 20 hours a day.
Okay, yeah. I want to talk about this. Yeah. I call myself the miniature maniac. Okay, I don't. I am a miniature maniac, but anyone else can be one as well. Vince showed me the true definition of miniature mania. This fucking guy. It's like 11 p.m., maybe even midnight. We're all just chillaxing after day one on the couch. We're watching All Gas No Brakes on YouTube. If you haven't checked it out, do yourself a favor and watch a few episodes. We're losing our minds, laughing, and Vince is laughing too, but he's sitting at the table still painting.
Yeah.
He just happened to rotate his chair toward the TV now.
Yes.
But he's painting until he goes to sleep. And I was just like, Vince, you're making me feel bad. Like, come join me on the couch. But no, dude, he is always painting. Yeah. And I'm super interested in people's habits, like that you don't see, like their schedules, what they're doing. And so I asked Vince, like, what does a week look like for you? Because he's married, similar to me, and he told me how he breaks down his week. And I'm not gonna like divulge every secret of his schedule because I didn't get permission in the first place. But I'll tell you, dude paints a lot. And it was just like, dang, dude, this guy. I was kind of thinking of it on the drive here. He's kind of like a deity. It's like, I'm thinking of Vince right now. What is he doing? He's painting. At all times, Vince is painting. It's super cool. He's so productive. It's insane.
Yeah. If you're ever saying like you're feeling down in the hobby and you're like, whatever, you're not sure what to do with your day, just say WWVD, baby.
He's painting. There's only one answer. Yeah.
What would Vincey do? Vincey'd be painting right now. That's what he'd be doing.
Yeah.
He probably paints minimum 40 hours a week.
Oh, yeah.
And he works a full-time job.
Yeah.
And he's married. And he's got 3 doggos. Mm-hmm. And he's got a house to take care of.
And he walks those doggos.
Yeah.
He spends time with his wife.
Yeah.
And he paints. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, he does. But he also is like, he does the Warhammer Weekly episode every week. And he knows a bazillion things about Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
About the game itself. Like,
yeah.
I think one thing I learned too is that whenever he's painting, he's always like absorbing information somewhere. He listens to like everything.
He had some good YouTube channels for me to watch. ContraPoints is one of them. I watched a few episodes of that. Mm-hmm. That was interesting. So yeah, he's always, he mentioned he's always content hungry. He's always looking for things to listen to because he's always freaking painting and he always listens to things while he's painting.
So, and he's filming and putting out videos about his painting, about specific topics, about everything under the sun. Mm-hmm. If you haven't checked out the Vince Fincherella YouTube channel, it's got the answer to whatever question you have or didn't know you had.
Yeah. 100%.
So Vincey painted nonstop. Sam painted the least but got the most done. Mm-hmm. I was somewhere in the middle. I feel like I spent 75% of my painting time for this project was trying to create 3 distinct green skin tones. I spent the most time on getting the skin looking as good within reason as I could, and then I the rest of the details didn't put a ton of effort into. And Scott was either making food, dealing with food, or maybe painting something.
Yes. Oh yeah, dinner for day one. That was just Parkway Pizza. There's a new pizza place. I want to try it out. 5 out of 10. 5
out of 10. Yeah, I think I gave it like a 6.2.
Yeah.
And I probably in hindsight was being nice with a 6.2 out of 10. Yeah, you never give an even score. That's a rookie move. Rookie move.
Did you say 6.2?
6.2 out of 10.
Hot take: square cut pizza sucks. I hate it. It always makes pizza taste worse. I don't know why.
Makes the pizza taste worse because of the shape?
Okay, hear me out. A pizza is a 2-course meal, okay? You got the cheese and the sauce and the bread, okay? And then you end with the bread, the handle, okay?
The handle.
When you square cut it and you give me a thing right in the middle and it's loaded up with cheese and sausage and I can't hold it anywhere and it's falling apart while I'm eating it, it's not a good experience.
You just fold it in half like a little street taco.
No. It's not pizza.
And then you like wet the one side.
No.
And then roll it up. And then you got a little...
It's a little pizza joint.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't light it on fire, but... And also, don't eat your joints. Let's not get these things mixed
There's an
up.
episode of All Gas No Brakes where there's a guy eating used joints. Did you see that? It's so ridiculous. So we did pizza for dinner the first night.
Because we were like knee deep in like wanting to be productive on that Friday and just hammer through and get to painting. And so it's just order, boom, boom and loom. Mm-hmm. We had a little breaky break to go upstairs and eat the pizza and have a good, fun discussion about something I can't remember.
Neither can I. Dude, but we had so many snacks.
Yeah, we did.
Dude, it was Snack City up in the basement.
Yeah. As soon as the Age of Sigmar game was over, we didn't fold the table back up. We just filled all 6x4 of the freaking table with snacks.
Dude, yeah. Chicken and a biscuit, Dots pretzels, Doritos, sour cream and onion, Lay's,
Zapp's chips.
A viewer of the podcast gave us a bunch of chocolates from England, so I busted those out. Peanut butter M&Ms,
Oreo double stuff.
Oh, buddy, Vince filled the fridge with Sobe water and San Pellegrino.
Yeah.
You filled it with Diet Dew. Oh no, there's a few cans in there. Yeah,
I had 12er.
yeah. Some White Claws in there that Sam crushed day
Crushing
one.
those White Claws. They were Dunsky. There was
none left after day one.
So yeah, Stu, one of our amazing listeners and patrons, sent us some chocolates from the far west. Far from for us, but
Yeah, the far west.
and so we got to, and maybe Stu will appreciate this, we got to share Scott's half with Vince and Sam. And so they got to partake as well. My favorite, since we haven't had a full breakdown, are, I can't remember what they were called, but they're M&Ms on steroids.
Yeah.
They're like the size of a milk dud. So, they're big, the size of like a quarter. But it's an M&M shaped like an M&M, but it's massive. The chocolate is roughly the same on the inside, but the shell is thicker. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit more crunch.
Okay.
I loved those.
My favorite are the little chocolate cubes that remind me of a Rolo, but a Rolo with a Kit Kat wafer in it.
Yeah.
I really like those ones. I haven't eaten them all yet, though. My wife before they arrived for the weekend, my wife took the chocolates out of the bag that she wanted to eat and put them somewhere else. I don't know where that somewhere else is.
They're gone.
Yes.
Never to be seen again.
So I haven't tried them all yet.
She's smart, though. Otherwise, they would have been all gone. And she'd have been ticked that she didn't get to try some.
So, yeah, lots of snacks. That was great.
All right. So we ate like pigs.
Yeah. Went to bed at what, like 3?
Yeah.
Day 1? Yeah.
3. That sounds about right. Mm-hmm. The first night and things like this, I'm the same way with cons. Like first night, I always have this moment somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m. where I'm like, fuck it, let's just keep going. Yeah. All night. All gas, no breaks, baby. No sleep. No sleep till Brooklyn. And so I'm like, man, I could just fucking roll with this. But also, I'm 38 years old, and I would have gravely hated that decision about noon on day 2 when I totally lose my whole second day. Like, I've lost the second day of a con before.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, it was our last year at Adepticon where I was partying like John Bon Jovi, and it's 1988. And it was the first day there, like the Thursday night, and all of Friday it was like the world was in slow motion. It was like, racial for me. I'm just like a pale, sweaty mess, just dripping booze out of my pores.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah.
You can't see anyone. You can't hear anyone.
Nope. Yeah. If you ever see me at a convention with sunglasses on, I party like a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling
Keep your distance.
Yeah. That booze breath is going to slay the dragon. So I was, I was responsible, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go sleepy sleep. I laid my head down, and I crashed pretty good. Mm-hmm. Crashed pretty good, and even got up. We all got up at a reasonable time,
9 a.m. ish, 10 a.m.
Yeah, I think we were all up at like 9. I get up, I come upstairs, go out on Scott's beautiful new deck, and take in the outdoors and some breaths of fresh air. Doesn't smell like cheese and farts like Scott's basement does after one night of the 4 of us. And
cheese and farts.
Before I know it, out waddles everybody else like little baby ducklings, hopping on out. And it was about this time that we learned of Vince's condition that allows him to not smile. Vince can't do a fake smile. And so we learned the classic Vincey V face also comes with double thumbs of his fake smile because he says he can't do a good smile on cue. So instead, he says he doesn't even try.
Okay.
Instead, he does this kind of the smirk with the mouth closed with 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
And so any picture you find on the internet of Vince, like at a con or whatever, and I did this later on. I just like went through and found stuff. It's the exact same pose. It's the exact same 2 thumbs up. No teeth showing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. What's funny is if you recall, and I'll share this picture with Amber, I totally had forgotten from the Thursday night prior when I sent you a picture of Vince on the beanbag chair and Sam leaning over. What's Vince doing? That exact pose. It's so good. And so I don't know why I found that story so funny and stuck out in my head, because I think it was because Vince showed us his face of what his real fake smile looks like. And I about fell off my chair laughing.
I didn't see this picture.
You missed. It wasn't a picture. It was him doing it in real time.
Where was I?
We were all sitting around the table painting. And it's so great. It looks like you're at the J.C. Penney portrait studio for family pictures, and your little brother that's 8, and he does the fake family smile, and it just looks like it's just teeth. You can see all the teeth, but he's kind of frightened. He's like, I don't look like a real person. I laugh so hard. He's like, that's why I do the thing.
Okay.
Oh, that's why I do the thing.
That's his solution. Yeah. I took a selfie with him because people in my Discord didn't believe that I was hanging out with Vince. And so I was like, Vince, we got to take a photo to prove my Discord wrong. And so I, did a little snap, and he was doing the look. I got that photo too. So boop, there it is.
It's the patented Vincey V.
Thumbs up, dude.
Yeah. Vincey V, double thumbs, no teeth.
Dude, speaking of patent Vincey V, dude, he had that green apron on.
He had the green apron on all weekend.
Yeah, dude. Because he's always painting.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why.
Yeah.
I think at one point when I was drunk, I was asking about the apron, but I don't remember what I asked.
Yeah.
Like, Vince, you really that dirty? You need to wear an apron.
You dirty boy, Vince.
He's so dirty, you can paint everywhere.
So we painted more day 2. But I think the unique thing about day 2 was that we visited some local hobby stores.
We did.
Because Vince lives in Ohio, and in his area, he doesn't have many stores to visit. I think he said the closest one was 30 minutes away or so, and it was trash. And so we went to the Source Comic and Games, which is down the street from me. And we hung out with some of the store employees and got to walk around and check out all the cool things. I think everyone bought something, which that was cool. And that's where we discovered an alternative for Blood Knight horses.
Yes.
I can't remember their name, but there was 2.
Dreadblade Harrows.
Dreadblade Harrows. They had 2 in a kit, $25. And they come with these really cool ghostly mounts that are part skeleton, part ghost. And then another option is the endless spells for Legions of the Gash. There's like the corpse horses.
It's for Flesh Eater Courts.
Flesh Eater Courts.
Yeah.
It comes with 4 horses. Some of them are kind of partially still in the ground because they're kind of coming out of the grave. Possibility of using those and slicing them into 4 different horses, and that'd be a cheaper option for more horses.
I've seen somebody do that, but when you slice them, you really are just like slicing a whole section off, and so you're going to have to do a lot of probably green stuff work of rebuilding a quarter of the horse.
Oh, yeah.
So they're great in theory. I don't know how much in practice they actually are good, but the Harrows for sure.
Yeah, and Black Knights come with armor panels that fit on the horses because you can build Hex Wraiths or Black Knights in that kit, and the Hex Wraiths don't have any armor. So I was thinking about taking some of those armor plate bits and putting them on the Dreadblade Harrow mounts so you still have some barding on the horses. So yeah, I'm just looking for more excuses to make more Blood Knights. Because I want big 10-man units now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or 15, baby. You can go 15.
15, just a big old fat blob right in the middle, dude.
It's like, come at me.
Dude, it hurts whenever a Blood Knight dies.
It does.
It really hurts.
Especially now in the current rules where they can't come back after they die.
Yeah.
They
3
used to
wounds a
be
pop,
able to.
though. 3 up saves.
They used to be able to come back.
They're like Space Marines. Big fatty Space Marines. So yeah, we went to the Source Comic and Games. Everyone bought something that was super cool. Got to see some employees. And then we went to Hub Hobby, which is like the scratch building heaven. And we all bought stuff again.
I know. We bought random funny things there that it's like, if I don't get it now, I know if I'll never see it again in my life. Like the lovely tiny files that we bought that we love.
Yes.
Vincey was like, hook me up with them tiny files.
Yeah.
Sam bought some cool plastic card stuff, some stairs. I bought some stairs, some weird random things for scratch building stuff. I couldn't find the 2-scale rope that Sam uses. This rope. It's from Ship Kits.
Ship kits?
Ship kits. Yeah, like ancient, not ancient, but like old-timey Mayflower ships.
Okay.
Scale model ships.
Right.
The rope that they use on those is like perfect for rope. It's like the same scale.
Yeah. The guys that make ships in a bottle?
Ooh.
Those people?
Probably same thing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure you can find it on the internet somewhere.
Sure, yeah.
But I tried to find it in person there.
Rigging.
I couldn't find it. Oh, yeah, rigging. That's a technical term for that.
Nautical term.
But we all bought some more good stuff there. I was surprised at the Source how many people recognized us.
How many? I only know of one. And obviously Dan, because he...
Well, I could see how people could recognize Sam, especially because we're all wearing face masks, first of all. Like,
sure.
That was a big part of it, right? You see who is who. You recognize Sam if you watch his videos and knew who he is. Like, he's a very unique-looking person, even with the face mask on.
He's very tall and big.
He had 2 people come up to him.
Oh, cool.
I had one person come up to me, and Vince was talking to 2 different people. These were all different people at different times when we were there.
Cool.
And then, obviously, all the store employees and... he knew you or
Yeah, because I'm in there like every other day.
Yeah. And like asking us about whatever. The kid was asking me about what color, and he listens to podcasts. So, hey, and I forgot to ask you what your name was. I'm sorry. Next time you see me, tell me your name. Just come up to me and be like, hey, my name is Bill, jerk.
It was Nathan or Ian. It had A and an N in it.
It had an Ian and Ann.
Yeah.
And an Ian.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. He's asking me about greens. So we went around, we looked at some different green paints, gave him my suggestions
Very cool.
for green paints.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just weird.
So we're rock stars.
Not at all.
No,
not
even a little.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Come up, say hi.
Absolutely.
If I'm at the gas station pumping gas, just come up and say hi.
You have his express permission.
Yeah.
So now.
Yeah. It'll never happen. So I'm fine to say that.
I think after that we probably came back. We had lunch at some point. And I think that day I made a coleslaw, a Matty Matheson coleslaw with pickles and white onion in it and lemon. And that was fun. But I'd also made brats. So that was simple.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning that I thought that Sam was vegetarian. And so every single meal I had prepared, not the ones I'm talking about, but every meal I prepared had a vegetarian angle. So for Sam, I had veggie patties that I was going to make for that lunch and other things like that. For pizza, obviously, you don't got to put meat on a pizza. It still tastes good. But then he was like, no, I'm fine with meat. And I was like, okay, that makes life easier. So yeah, we did brats and coleslaw.
So we stuffed him full of meat the rest of the weekend.
Like, okay, you like meat? Here's
Let's
a 20-ounce steak.
Let's see how much you like meat. Yeah, that brings us to the steak dinner on Saturday night that Scotty made.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, baby.
So Whole Foods sells meat. They have a pretty substantial butcher counter, and you can call them and be like, hey, I want a ribeye that's 2 1/4 inches thick. And they're like, okay, give us a day. And you go pick it up the next day. And so I got a fatty ass ribeye. And I salted it in the fridge 2 days before we were eating it. So it kind of dries it out nicely, draws the moisture out. The idea is that the moisture comes out of the meat, it dissolves the salt, and then it reabsorbs back into the meat, and it changes the salt level of the meat, allowing it to retain moisture more. And so it's nice and meaty if you take some of the moisture out and it evaporates. So yeah, I reverse seared that sucker, put it in the oven until it was at like a 124 internal, and then seared it up. And now it's tasty. Nice little pink edge to edge.
Yeah, it's impressivo.
Some scalloped potatoes, corn on the cob, which Sam was a big fan of, apparently. some roasted carrots. I think that was it.
So it was a beautiful meal.
Yeah.
Made me sleepy right afterwards. It's like in a little food coma.
Yeah.
Ain't time for this. We gotta get back to painting.
And that's what we did. We got back to painting.
We got back to painting. So if at any point in the recap of this weekend you're not sure what we were doing, we were painting.
Yes.
But the nice thing is with 4 people, and I'll say this, by and large, your setup worked great for having 4 people there. We weren't cramped. There was all ample light. Mm-hmm. We all had our own space. There was plenty of stuff to put your paints all over and not feel cramped or whatever. And you have your massive lights that could sit down before it blows.
Right,
and we're all
right.
facing each other.
Yeah.
And so it's a little thing, something maybe we didn't think about in the moment, but in hindsight, that can really make or break a get together like this.
Yeah.
Is your situation of all kind of being inclusive, being able to look at each other and chat and laugh, and have plenty of space for your stuff, and have ample lighting.
Yeah.
It's quick to, if you're going to be painting for like as many hours as we did over a 3-day span, if you don't have good lighting in there, it's going to hurt you.
Big time.
It's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Side note, after I got back, so I think it was Monday afternoon, I'm at home and I'm working on something. I think I'm painting something or I'm building something, whatever. And I sit up and I immediately realize I have a massive crick in my neck. And it's still like, it's better now, but I'd be fine if I stand up straight, my head is straight. I'm in no pain. But if I move my neck at all or hunch, it's like pretty bad pain. And I'm hoping I just have a pinched nerve from being probably sitting in a shape or a posture that I'm not used to for those 3 days for so many hours. And then on Monday, it kind of caught up with me and just something pinched. And it was like, we're now a week removed from that. And I'm still not at 100%.
Uh-oh.
But I'm much better than I was. For like 2 days, I couldn't even like move.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, oh boy.
What's your default painting position?
I think it has to do with how much the height of my table in my painting space is higher. So my arms are up higher. And so I don't have to lean or crank my neck as much. I think I was doing more of this over the weekend at your place. So my neck itself was pushed down more at a weirder angle. And so probably just it being down there like that, it's something with the nerve. And I don't know.
Sure. If you're an audio listener, John just leaned forward and kind of bent his neck toward the table.
Yep.
So yeah, the surface is lower as opposed to your kind of countertop height. You have to kind of lean in to get closer to it. Yeah, and that can probably mess you up.
If I was smarter, I probably should have just pushed my chair back a little further and then lean at the hips straight forward, so my whole upper body is further down at an angle.
Yeah.
And then I'm keeping a straight back and a straight neck.
Yeah. So my table has little feet height extenders on it that make it higher. Because when I originally built it, I love having a desk right up against my legs. I don't know why I like that, but I do. And then I painted my elbows with it right in front of my face. That was the kind of way I painted for a long time. And then I came here and tried this countertop idea where the model meets the table in your hands. That was explained poorly. You're holding the model, you got your elbows on the arms of your chair, and then your two hands come together at the edge of the table. Mm-hmm. You're not like laying it on the surface of the table. And I like that, so I bought these feet extenders to lift the height of my desk up, and then I took my chair and I lowered it so that I was lower so I could simulate this. And it's nice because then you're not moving around a ton for camera purposes.
Right.
And I'm not sure. I've been making stupid videos for 5 years, and I cannot figure out the right way to shoot miniature painting without compromising how I'm painting or compromising the shot. I feel like I want my eyeballs to be camera lenses. That's what I want. Yeah. And I can't figure out how to do it.
I cannot figure out how to make my eyeballs camera lenses.
Yeah.
As much as I try.
Not a cyborg yet.
We're probably not that far off. We're not that far off.
Why did we talk about this? Oh, because you had a kink in your neck because of the posture you had. Yeah. We were painting a lot. Well, at least maybe not a lot, but we were painting with every single moment that we weren't doing expressed something else, whether it was playing a game, whether it was going to a store and stuff like that. But yeah, so Vince was like, "You're super lucky for how many stores you have in this area," and we didn't even go to all of them.
No,
we didn't go to Fantasy Flight Game Center. We didn't go to Two Tower Games. We didn't go to. There are so many. You could seriously spend an entire day touring every single store that had miniatures in it. And I'm counting miniatures as including CMON board game miniatures as well. So that could include some board game stores that aren't specifically focused on miniature painting.
I don't think you could hit them all in a day.
You don't think so?
Are you counting something like a Games by James and Mall of America in that?
No.
Okay. But yeah, just purely game stores, like Dreamer's Vault.
Dreamers, yep.
There's in the actual GW store.
Mm-hmm.
They're all close within distance of where you live, but they're also a bit away from each other. So just taking in travel time. How much time are you spending in each store? Let's do the math on this to see if it can be done.
I think you go to the biggest and baddest ones first. You spend 45 minutes at each one of those, and the ones after that, you spend 20, 30 minutes in those, if not less.
If you planned out the full day and you hit the first one that opens the earliest, you're in the parking lot.
I love your brain, man. You're just thinking about the strategy of how this would happen.
This is why I win at Age of Sigmar, and you made us lose.
Okay, there it is. I will feel like my army was particularly one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But I'll figure it out.
You figure it out. I think
I'm gonna get
if we do it all over again, I made one pretty big mistake in turn 1. I would have, in an ideal world, and there's nothing I don't think you did wrong here. In an ideal world, your vampire dragon runs amok a lot more than it did.
Sure.
He got clogged down by those stupid summon crap.
Yeah.
And just had to sit there and just eat through everything that came his way.
Yeah, had a shitty Chalice of Blood roll, only healed 1 wound from it on a D6. That kind of sucked.
And for how many things he kept throwing at you and things you kept destroying, he did his job. It wasn't like he was weak. It was like, ideally, you want him in their back objective, chewing up those shitty little heroes of Vince's and just pooping on their objective and say, you're done.
Right.
We just couldn't do it, man.
Right. Did we ever experience a double turn? Did we ever? Because we went first.
There was no double turns the entire game.
Okay.
Because that would be something you could bitch about.
But the fear.
The fear of the DT.
The fear of the DT.
Well, after turn 1, for the top of 2, we tied, and we went first, so we went ties, which is a new rule in I think it's the latest, or it's Age of Sigmar 2.0. Where before, if you tied, you just roll off again. Now, if you tie, whoever went first the turn before goes first again. So it kind of balances out the double turn not happening quite as much.
Okay.
So we experienced that.
Yeah. There was a tie. Yeah. Anyways, end of day 2. Snacks, chilling. Vince is still painting, obviously. Vince and Sam went to bed. And then me and John stayed up until 5 or later than 5, watching YouTube videos and talking about,
I don't remember what we talked about.
Talked about YouTube miniature painting, but we were both drunk as fuck and not normal.
Not normal.
Yeah. We went to bed at 5, and I woke up at 11:30, and that has not happened in a decade.
Woo!
No. I don't sleep in anymore. I haven't slept in for 5 years because I can't anymore because of the pattern that I have. But yeah, I woke up at 11:30. I was like, fuck. And I look at my phone, and my phone's like, tell John to text his wife. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. What happened? So the first thing I do is I go out to you, and you're already awake.
Yeah.
Not
by much, though.
You had resolved it.
Yeah, we were fine.
Yeah.
I was just sleeping too late. My wife wondered if we were dead or something, which is a legitimate question.
So yeah, Sunday, woke up at 11:30. I think the lunch I prepared was egg salad sandwich, which sounds like a gross thing. I don't think it's that gross.
Vince and I were both very skeptical because we are not egg salad sandwich fans. I told my wife that you're making egg salad sandwich. She's like, are you going to eat it? And I'm like, I'm going to eat it because Scott made it and he's going to make it not taste terrible. I'm going to try it. I don't like egg salad sandwiches. And it was the best egg salad sandwich I've ever had by a country mile.
Oh!
It was so good.
Thank you. Amber makes them a lot. We have dill in our garden and celery sometimes, and so we've like to make it in the summer when we have those fresh things. Yeah, it doesn't taste bad.
It had a lot more complex, interesting flavors instead of just like mushy egg poop. Like,
yeah, that's kind of the impression people get. Like it's like this gas station sandwich,
Yeah.
or like this cafeteria sandwich. But yeah,
and then
you're
being on
right.
toast, I'm a food texture person.
Oh, yeah.
like there needs to be some kind of texture. I'm picturing when I think of egg salad sandwich, I'm picturing like white bread, like Wonder Bread.
No.
That's just like super soft and spongy, and then that mushy inside of a egg salad. There's no texture there.
Hard pass. Crunchy toast, some celery in there. It's nice and
Yes.
crunchy. Yeah, textural variety for sure.
You have a little smoked paprika in there. I felt like I
Yep.
tasted that.
Yep. God damn, nice
Like
palate. Good
like
job.
A week later.
Damn. Sniped that.
Yum yum.
So then we just painted for the rest of Sunday. At some point, you guys were done, and I wasn't done because I had to finish the base. And they played Warcry while I was painting. And then it was done. And what did we eat for dinner on Sunday? We had to order food out again because I was like, okay, either I can make you food and not finish this thing, or finish this thing and we can order food. I think you went and got us some wings.
Some chicky wings.
We needed some chicken wings.
Dude, yeah, we ate like 50 chicky wings.
Yeah, it was a lot of
It
wings.
was amazing. Pretty good wings. Wingstop was where we got them from. Mm-hmm. Obviously, bone-in wings.
Absolutely.
Because we're not barbarians.
Yeah. Because a boneless wing isn't a thing. It's not. It's not real.
Did you seen that video of the
No.
dude that went to his like local city council meeting to talk to?
Oh no. Okay, yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it, but I know it exists. Yeah.
It's hilarious. The first time I watched it, I didn't know what it was about. Someone, I think, just posted it in our Trapped Under Plastic Facebook
Yes,
group.
I saw that. Yeah.
With no description. I watch it because I think I'm going to have to pull this down because it's some political post thing.
Okay.
Because the still is just like a guy at a podium at a local city council meeting. You know, it's a random guy that lives in the city or whatever. Those are all half words that I said right there. And I'm like, oh gosh, it's gonna be something political. Let me just see what it says. And I'm rolling on the floor laughing after like a minute. Oh my gosh. So maybe we'll find that video and we can put it in the description below.
Nice.
But yeah, boneless wings aren't wings.
No, they're not. Just white meat with breading on it.
This is a travesty. We need to be what we want to see in the world.
Yeah. Change. Hold on. I recently learned something. So obviously a wing is two parts. It's the flat and the drummy. Mm-hmm. The drummy is white meat and the flat is dark meat. Do you know that? I thought that the flat was just juicier because it had two bones going through it, and a bone helps regulate the temperature of the meat in that it doesn't let it raise too high too fast. And so it's just the flat is always kind of like a moisture. It's a moisture part of the wing than the drummy. But I didn't know that. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
There's some chicken knowledge for you.
I'm trying to think of this. When you're looking at the anatomy of a chicken, where that joint is, the shoulder joint is, it's got the drummy, that's attached to the breast.
Yep.
And so that's white meat. When you look at the hindquarters, 'cause I'm thinking like it's the same thing as the leg.
Yeah, it's the hind quarter of the breast. The flat is.
Yeah. So it's like it's the same thing. It's just it's your bicep versus your thigh kind of thing, right? But in the hips, that's the thigh meat, and then the chicken leg. So that's all dark there. But then why is the flat dark?
Yeah, because the chicken leg is dark too, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, chicken leg is dark.
Yeah. I have no idea.
We need some Bill Nye shit on this. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. I watched the video.
I think it is. Well, no, sometimes when you get the little drummy, there's that nice little nubbin, extra piece of meat way up on the top by the joint. And that's coming from the breast where they chop that and you get that nice. And that's white. I don't know if the rest of that is. We should get chicken wings for lunch and figure this out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that's what we're going to eat for lunch. Anyways, I think we had dinner, and that was kind of like a nice ending point. Everyone packed up. We all hugged, and everyone left.
And that was it.
And I was left in the basement. Vince left some of his aids here.
His aids.
Goddamn aids.
What were the aids anyway?
Game aids for Age of Sigmar. It was a ruler and like a objective marker. And then Sam left his sanguine base here. So now I have a P3 paint.
Oh, nice. Sucker. That's a great color too.
Yeah. That was the brick color we used, right?
Yes, it was our brick color.
Yeah.
Okay. All said and done, I assume there's going to be much more things left behind. But we weren't super dirty or messy.
No.
I mean, there's still snacks everywhere.
Yeah. So Amber came home, and I had obviously cleaned up before she came home. But I only put things away. I didn't like vacuum or anything. And she was like, "This is the cleanest the basement has ever been." And I was like, "So yeah, that's a testament to how we weren't getting crumbs everywhere and stuff. That was obvious." And Amber sees everything.
Eagle eyes.
Yeah. So yeah,
She's the true Hawk Lord.
Hawk Lord. Yeah. It was a good weekend. It was so much fun. It was so nice to meet Vince and talk to Vince. It's always nice to hang out with Sam. He's so much fun to be with. And it was cool to sit across the table and just share conversations and also share paints. Vince brought a bunch of paints that we could try out. And so I tried out some different ranges that I don't have access to normally. We all got to share basing materials. We didn't say this. So an essential point of what am I saying? An essential thing for all cons is a goodie bag.
Yeah.
So Vince, out of the kindness of his heart, made us all goodie bags that were all designed specifically for us as individuals.
Yeah.
So that was so nice. Mine had some cool terrain things in it. He put some retro minis in there because he knows I'm starting to get a little bit of a thing for like retro pewter minis. That's definitely true. I've been buying so many pewter vampires on eBay. It's ridiculous. I don't know what to do with all of them. What was in yours?
I got a bunch of terrain bits from the Warcry terrain set for great stuff for basing dioramas and greeblies. And he gave me a bunch of different models that would be good for D&D minis.
Nice.
So like a Forge World Warhammer Fantasy Cleric that's dual wielding big hammers. I had never seen that model before. It's really nice looking.
Nice.
Got me this like a Dragon Knight female from a company I hadn't heard of before, but it's in resin. It's a very nice cast. Some crazy old golden demon little dwarf on the head.
Yeah, an exclusive golden demon model. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff. And then Sam got us amazing coffee mugs.
Oh yeah. I would say go get it. I don't know where it is though. I thought I saw it when I came here.
Yes.
But it has his artwork on it. It's a Sam Lenz artwork cup.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And then I had to give Sam one of the Duchess. And he's painting it right now. And he's doing some sick freehand on it, on the dress. Excited about
Vince.
that.
You said Sam. Vince.
I just did? Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Gave it to Vince. I've already given one to YouTube losers. Yeah. Where's that painted one, John?
Dude, we painted it in the class, remember?
Yeah,
that's what I'm counting.
We definitely painted it. Yeah. We finished it.
Yeah. I mean, it has paint on it.
I still have that one.
Yeah. I mean, throughout the course of that 2-day course of that class, we paint. The thing is mostly painted.
Sure.
We just focus on certain. We don't do every single thing that's metal, but we want to focus on teaching. Here's how we do the metal here. So it's mostly painted. I do want to paint the whole thing of my own idea.
I'm just messing
eventually.
with you. I'm just messing with you.
Like the day after you die, I'll do it.
If you don't want to paint it, don't paint it. Okay?
I do want to paint it.
Okay, yeah, you're lying to me. I know you do.
The reason I was actually holding off on painting it was because I knew we had planned a bunch of classes. Right?
Sure.
And so we were going to paint it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like, I'm just going to like burn it at both ends here. I wanted to paint her a bunch, learn. So my best version.
Nice.
Come up with some new ideas. Sam shared an idea with Vince and I what he wants to do, which is crazy, but he's not telling you because he wants it to be a surprise and it's going to be pretty epic.
So the sad part about making food is you miss a lot of conversation. So there's probably a lot of things. You guys have
we talked
secrets from
about
me.
mostly bad things about you.
Okay, yeah. Par for the course. Is that it?
I had a present that I gave to Sam, and I gave it to him Thursday when they were here. No, I didn't give anybody smoochies. You may have given me smoochies when you were drunk.
I was trying to.
Drunk,
You were like, get off of me.
Yeah.
You're like holding me by the head, and I was just
the
like,
forehead. Yeah, you're just like a zombie. You can't think how to out-strategize somebody holding you by the forehead. No, because I told Sam we're going to go to Adepticon this year, that I had a present for him, and it was a secret present. And since we didn't have Adepticon when he was here, I gave it to him, and it was a skull of an antelope.
Really?
Yes. So I gave him one of those that I have. It's called a European mount. It's where you take the skull and you boil it and bleach it, so it looks like white bone. There's a whole process to make that.
Yeah.
And then they have their very interesting, unique antlers that are on as well, which are actually made of the same thing as our fingernails. Their antlers are.
And John is gesturing off the camera, which is he's showing us two. These are also.
Yeah, these are
Same
also antelope. I can go get
antelopes.
one down so people can see it.
Did you give him the third one that was previously mounted on the wall that you own?
I have 4 total.
Okay, so he has 4 total. And he's showing us one right now.
Yeah, I've shot 4 total in my life, and so I have a couple out in my garage, and I've got 2 down here.
Interesting.
And so I just thought, because they're kind of exotic looking.
Yeah.
They don't look like something you'd find in North America. But
I thought the horns would be the same material as the bone, but it totally isn't.
no.
Does this come off? Can I?
Yeah, so this actually, there's duct tape to kind
Wow.
of to wedge it in, and this is obviously bone, and then this is separate. And so they shed these every year too, and they grow new ones.
Wait, so this is like the antelope horns just on the plains?
Yeah. I mean, they're hard to find.
Why? Who takes them?
I mean, nobody takes them. It's just like
What happens to
trying to
them?
find a needle in a haystack.
Why? They're giant.
I know, but when there's rain and there's sand and
sink
dust
down.
and whatever, and they all kind of end up looking in the same layer of dust that everything else is. You can find them. We found them out there, but they're not like you kick a dozen over on your way to the
Here's
truck.
what I imagine. You have a herd of antelope. They kind of hang out in generally the same areas. There's like 40 of them. If they're all shedding at the same season, there might be one area where there's a concentrated amount of antelope horns.
Well, only the males have the horns,
Okay.
and so
Cut in half.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But they're out there. You can find them. But
Cool.
so because the reason why I gave this to Sam was because it feels like a Sam thing.
100%. Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, look, I don't know. You don't have to take this if you don't want it. Like if you like, I won't be hurt. It just feels like something I think you'd like. You don't have to. That's no problem. I just thought, I have 4 of them, and we go every other year on average. It's been like 4 years now. We're not going this year because of COVID, and my brother can't take off of work because of school stuff with the kids.
Sure.
Not being in person, but I guess I can just put this down.
And he took it, right? He ended up taking it?
He did, and he responded in a greater way than I thought he was going to. He was ecstatic. Like he was so happy.
Awesome.
And so I'm so happy that he liked it because exactly, it's like, oh, this is something that I think he would appreciate. Because other ones are in my shop, in my garage, on the wall and stuff, and it's great and all, but it's like if somebody else would appreciate it, great. And these were all obviously harvested, in every bit of the animal that we could use was used, and all the meat, we eat all the meat. This is not a trophy or whatever.
No,
we hunt these they taste delicious. And it is a good way to support the economies of the cities and states that you hunt in, especially a lot of these large western states like Montana and Wyoming and Idaho. The money that they can't bring in from out of state hunting through the DNR is a huge portion of how they support their roads and all that kind of stuff. So we're helping.
A little hunting PSA.
Yeah. I just don't want to, if people are going to be mad that I hunt, then they're going to be mad that I hunt. I guess I can't do anything about that, but just know that I'm not like killing baby Bambis with my bare hands and like leaving them in the ditch or anything.
Yeah. For a lot of reasons, I have more respect for people who hunt and butcher their own animals and people who eat meat in general. Mm-hmm. Not all of them, but because there's people that like big game hunters that are excluded from that. But you have a new respect for an animal when you have to kill it and butcher it up. It's so easy to throw away half of a burger patty.
Right.
But when you're like, this was a living, breathing thing and I killed it, I'm going to respect this thing and consume all of it or harvest all the meat from it. So yeah, that's a big deal. I've never experienced it personally, but yeah, it's definitely a big deal.
Yeah. So that was my gift to Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And we made sure to check in on our boys that they got home on their drives okay.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's
And-
still alive.
And Drive home story. I got drive home story.
Really?
I didn't tell you this yet. I got pulled over by the
Oh
police
no!
on the drive home. And so I pull over. It was like, oh crap! Immediately, like first thing you do when you're driving home on the highway and it's nighttime is check my speedometer. Was I speeding? I wasn't speeding. I mean, kind of was. Like speed limit 65. I was going 70. Like,
Sure.
They're not. If they're pulling me over for that, whatever. I guess I'll take it.
Man.
And so I pull over, and the police officer comes up and she's like, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, honestly, no, I don't. And anytime I haven't been pulled over for probably like 8 years. There's a point in my life where I got a lot of tickets. I got pulled over a lot. That time is for the most part behind me. It's one good thing about like driving a truck compared to like when my car before this was an Audi with black tinted windows. I got pulled over all the time.
Yeah.
But she's like, you were swerving a little bit. I was like, oh, was I? I didn't notice that. And she's like, yeah. I mean, have you been drinking anything? And I'm like, nope, I haven't. I got my Mountain Dew here. I had my Mountain Dew thing. I'm like, she's like, where are you going? I'm going home. I just had a long weekend with the buddies. I just kind of told her the basic story. We'd get together or whatever, we were staying up late and we were hanging out and doing, guy time and stuff. I'm like, so I am pretty tired, and I like, maybe that was it. And she's like, were you on your phone? I'm like, no, I wasn't on my phone. And I wasn't. And she's like, okay, can you just get me your ID and your insurance? Okay. Anytime you get pulled over and the police officer asks you for your insurance, if you're me, maybe I'm the only person that does this. I immediately cannot find the insurance. I know it's in there. I'm like bent over, pulling everything out, everything.
Yeah,
and then she goes, is this your vehicle? I'm like, yes, it's my vehicle. And I find the thing. I find it eventually. And it's up to date, and it says my name, says the vehicle, it's all whatever, and I give it to her, and she was good. But there's this moment of like, did she think I stole this truck? And then I'm like, high on drugs, swerving all over the road, and she's gonna be the one that catches me.
Man,
like you just feel like no matter what I'm doing right now, I'm feeling like I'm looking guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, whenever I get pulled over, I grab the insurance and ID and put it between my thumb and the steering wheel and put both hands in the steering wheel.
Oh, see,
just sit there.
I don't like to go for my insurance because it's in the glove compartment over there.
Yeah.
I don't like to be moving and whatever while they're not here yet. I don't want them to see me like
understandable.
Grabbing
the alternative is you're grabbing shit while they're at the window. When I feel like they're more vulnerable.
Yeah,
we're talking about them like they're an endangered species. Yeah, no. I think either one probably has its downsides.
Yeah. They asked for it. I'm like, okay, we do it. I only did it with one hand and kind of stuff, which made it more awkward for me to find the thing.
Yeah, you're just like,
yeah, pull out all the stuff. But
did you explain anything about miniature painting?
No, I didn't. I thought she was super nice and patient. And it was overall, it was, not a bad experience at all. And she understood. She's like, just if you're getting too tired, just pull over, whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm wide awake now. And she laughed. She laughed. I'm like, truthfully, like your adrenaline is pumping.
Oh my God. The moment you see those lights, it's like,
yeah,
it's so crazy how your body reacts like that.
Yeah. And like sometimes, and this was one of those times when that happens and she was right behind me. Like I have a fairly, in general, I feel like I have fairly quick reaction times. I just go like, burp, and I was like, whoosh, I was off the road from 70 to stop, like kicking up gravel because I was just like, oh shit, there's a woof. So I probably made it look worse.
Yeah,
but I mean, what are you gonna do?
That reminds me when we got pulled over.
I didn't get a ticket.
Oh, that's good.
No, but yeah. So there's my coming home story of I don't know. Because here's the other thing. When you're going on the highway and it's dark and it's not, that highway needs a little bit of work. There's some like bumpies and like ba-do, 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 that's the sound your vehicle makes.
Yeah, definitely.
It can go a little bit, it's not a perfect straight line. And sometimes that'll push you off a little bit if your alignment's not perfect in your vehicle. Sure. And so that's what I think I chalked it up to. And there was no traffic. There's like nobody around.
Right.
So I don't like really focused on my lane kind of thing.
So no one's accusing you right now of being
I feel like your eyes are accusing me.
No, I have been pulled over a number of times.
For whipping shitties in your Honda?
No.
In the Target parking lot?
No, just speeding, man. I've been pulled over. Yeah, like not for a while, but when I was high school, college, holy cow, dude. I'm late going everywhere, so I'm always speeding, and I get pulled over all the time. But yeah, not anymore because I'm a responsible adult.
You don't drive anywhere anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's it. All right, that was our weekend. We hope you enjoyed hearing about it. We certainly enjoyed it, and hopefully we could share some of that joy with you.
So you will hear us next for the start of season 2. We are going to finish taping this and then get to work on some research in ways to potentially improve or change nothing.
Oh yeah. Nothing needs to, yeah, that's totally possible.
So we hope you enjoyed the last year and change of Trapped Under Plastic. We sure have. We have had a lot of fun every time that we have a recording scheduled. I look forward to it. We have a good day. And so it's glad to see that folks out there have joined the Sprued and Spruette Army. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep at it.
Absolutely. If you want to support the podcast, there are a number of ways to do it. You can buy merch like this sweater that I'm wearing. It's getting a little chillier outside here in Minnesota, so it's sweater season. You can also do things like watch our YouTube videos with a whitelisted channel so you can see the ads that play. They pop up once every 30 minutes. You can give us a review on Apple Podcasts, or for some non-free varieties, we also have a Patreon that John just mentioned, where you get a bunch of fun rewards like extended versions of the podcast where we talk about our favorite miniatures that we've seen from other painters in a given week, talk about what we've tried that was new in the hobby, techniques, materials, and how that fared. And we also talk about giving feedback to one of our Sprueds and Spruettes. So as a $5 patron, you can give us some of your miniatures. And you can also give us, not physically, pictures of them. And you can also give us some topics to discuss for the podcast. So yeah, all that is linked in the description below. Thanks for hanging out with us for a season of Trapped Under Plastic. We'll catch you on
the Flippity Flop.